The Brainiac Corporation. Every day, a crack team of Britain's finest minds get to grips with the fundamentals of scientific knowledge and understanding.
Welcome.
So step inside, but prepare yourself for a bumpy ride as we embark on the worst excesses that are Brainiac Science Abuse.
Brainiac. 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 Brainiac.
Welcome to Brainiac, a vampire bat in the underpants of science.
The big science tonight. Can you get a shock from weeing on an electric fence?
Closer, Brainiac.
First off, it's the TV.
Is stuff worth buying if it's fallen off the back of a lorry? And will Tony Blackburn survive stars in their caravans? But first... In a galaxy far, far away, just off the M25, lies the Brainiac Space Center, boldly pushing the boundaries of rocket science because there's some stuff NASA never tried.
Stuff like, can rockets ensure the safe arrival of a multi-tonal sonic wave generator? The rockets? 4 donkey punch rear thrusters. The multi-tonal sonic wave generator? A piano. Or Joanna. You've outgrown your bachelor pod on Sector 7 and you're getting married to a Zyklurnaman for some reason. So you're moving all your possessions, including your beloved piano, out into a new family space station. But those removal men have mishandled your piano and now it's falling from the 16th floor. Can rockets come to the rescue, slow its descent and ensure a soft landing? We've attached rockets to the piano here and here. When it's dropped from up there, it will hurtle down towards the ground at speeds of up to and in excess of 2 miles per hour. The rockets will then deliver an incredible 500 kilograms of thrust in 1 second, slowing the piano down to a standstill just before it reaches ground zero. The world's first rocket-powered piano landing system. NASA never tried this. OK, Brainiacs, let's winch her up, take off in T-minus 17 seconds.
The retro thruster rockets will ignite precisely 0.6 seconds after release, ensuring a soft and safe landing.
Now it's time for those all-important final checks. Six, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop out!
Well, you couldn't have asked for more from the piano. And the rockets went off a treat. All the key ingredients were there, if slightly in the wrong order. And it was a great success, I'm sure you'll agree.
Whoa, look at that. What a lovely soft landing. It was almost like toilet tissue landing on a downy bed of dandelions. There are the hammers. There's the main body of the piano over there. A little bit of nailing and sellotaping, and we've got a wonderful piano back. Some fine tuning. I think that's great. Could I have the results, please? Thank you. So, when eventually you hear man tinkling away on Uranus, you can't say that the Brainiac rocket scientists didn't have a bit to do with that. Take that to NASA.
At the end of a grueling day abusing science, our Brainiac indulges in a warm bowl of his most favoritist thing in the whole world, custard. And each night as he drifts off, his tiny subconscious mind transports him to a magical world. A world of custard dreams. At the heart of his fantasy is a pool filled to the brim with custard. Thanks to the non-Newtonian properties of custard, Brainiac knows he can run, sack race, and dance on it. But not space hop or cycle across it. And if he doesn't keep moving, he will sink. But what will the Brainiac dream about tonight? A skipping rope. So this is it. One Brainiac against one pool of yellow stuff. The moment of truth. Can he skip across custard?
Feel the non-Newtonian force, young Brainiac.
Sensational! Sort of. The skipping rope gets caught in the runny liquid, but the Brainiac definitely manages one full skip on his way across, and it ranks as one of the greatest achievements in this Brainiac's life. But it was just a dream. Or was it?
I love hard things.
10 hard things brought in by 10 viewers will face Tyler's 3 hardness tests. 1 ton of bricks, 1 angle grinder, and 1 pot of thermite in a bid to top Tyler's hard ranker leaderboard.
Today's very hard thing has been brought in by Peter from Bromley. Hello, Peter.
Hello, Tyler.
How hard is your thing?
Very hard, I think.
Let's have a look at it. It looks pretty hard. What is it?
It's a radiator.
Is it a steel radiator with a melting point of 1300 degrees Celsius? Well, it looks hard, but just how hard is it?
The first test is the impact of a ton of bricks.
Get 'em up, boys!
The radiator is made of steel sheets welded together, but will it survive the force of a ton of bricks from 30 meters?
3, 2, 1, release!
The radiator vanishes from sight, but is it destroyed? Not quite. It's bent, but still in one piece, giving it a hardness ranking of 7 out of 10.
I think the radiator might have blown a valve or two.
But how will it do against my 9-inch angle grinder?
Brainiac, grind away.
The radiator's steel casing is no match for the grinder, giving it an abrasion rating of 3 out of 10.
Nice. And now it's time to turn up the thermostat with the thermite. The radiator is sitting beneath my pot of thermite.
The radiator can handle 75-degree hot water, but will it be able to cope with 2,500 degrees of molten metal? The continued barrage of thermite is taking its toll on the thin steel veins of the radiator. And this terrible mismatch earns the radiator a heat resistance rating of 3. So the radiator scored a total of 13 points, putting it right in the middle of our table.
How hard do I rank it? Hard-ish. How hard is your thing?
Next time, how hard is a cock?
In the Brainiac slow motion facility, a small team are devoted to the remarkable line of research we call things, but very slowly. So what's this week's thing, but very slowly? A pile of gunpowder igniting. Normally, this is quite interesting to watch. But let's see that again, very slowly. Seen at 4,000 frames per second, the burning fuse starts a violent chain reaction that sends granules Catherine-wheeling through the air as an ignition wave tears across the surface of the gunpowder. Finally, a billowing cloud of combustion gases rises majestically forth. All this in a tenth of a second. A pile of gunpowder igniting. One more thing, but very slowly.
Greetings, gas trumpeters, and welcome to my weekly webcast, the science phenomenon that is gasbangwallop.com, brought to you by me, Barry Bernard, and my erstwhile companion there behind the camera, Clive. Let's see what the gas is meeting this week. This week, it's Clive's auntie's grandfather clock. So, without any further ado, let's go, gas bananas. Come on, Clive. Clive, that ghost fat's starting to get a bit rank, if you don't mind me saying. Get out of the way. This rather stunning timepiece, for which time is quite literally up, thanks to my cocktail of gases here in this balloon. I can't let you know what they are because of national security reasons. The gas has been carefully positioned. I have the fuse. Now let's unleash the fury and power of Captain Gas. Right, leg it, Clive. Come on. Run, Clive, run. Your life depends on it. Come on. Right, have you got me in? Ready. Here we go. It's not Derek thinking. Oh! Wow! Did you see that? Marvel with me as the primeval forces in the atoms of gas execute a clinical dissection of this timeless timepiece. And it's all thanks to gasbangwallop.com.
Professor Mayang Lee, bringing beauty as well as brains to the world of Brainiac. The prof has been continuing her fine work in the field of fluid dynamics, finding out which objects disappear down the toilet when she flushes. So what's inside Mayang Lee's clam this week? A highlighter pen, an item of stationery used by people to highlight words and sentences they especially like. But how will it fare in the bottom of Mayang's toilet with 20 litres of water gushing down on it? Will it flush or float? Find out after the break. Also to come, who produces more saliva, Brainiac or dog? Which items still work after falling off the back of a lorry? And do you get a shock if you wee on an electric fence?
Feel anything?
Brainiac. Brainiac.
This is Brainiac, the show that tied science to the railway tracks and then boarded the 6:15 to Scarborough.
Still to come, road testing appliances. Can you run a lawnmower on pig fat? And holy smoke, it's chemistry deathmatch. But first, Before the break, Professor Mayang Lee sent a highlighter pen into the swirling waters of her beach-based bog. But will it flush or float? It's a floater! The air trapped inside the plastic casing of the pen kept it buoyant enough to withstand the force of the flush. Thanks, Prof. Nice clam.
Dear John, my best mate's brother reckons that if you weed on an electric fence, you'd get a nasty shock on your willy. Is this true? Regards, Denzel Wally from Wiltshire. Well, Denzel, I can see why you'd be reluctant to try this for yourself, but it's a good question and one that deserves a quick answer. This is a typical agricultural electrified fence.
Danger, danger! High voltage!
It works by delivering an electric shock to any creature that completes the circuit between wire and ground, simply by touching it. As this Brainiac will now demonstrate. It goes without saying that you shouldn't try this yourself. It's extremely painful. Not everything you touch the fence with will give you a shock. Take wood, for instance. Perfectly safe. And grass gives you more of a tingle than a zap. But what about weed? Well, first let's see what water does. Pure distilled water doesn't conduct, but the surfaces of the wood and grass are covered with various salts, which, when wet, transmit the current and complete the circuit. Urine is basically a stream of salty water, and Denzel wants to know if this will complete the circuit too. As much as I'd like to, I can't risk electrocuting this Brainiac's private parts. So instead, I've got a drip stand and a bag filled with real Brainiac wee. It'll come from here, exactly mimicking standard bladder pressure, and down this tube. But to simulate the real thing, it needs to be connected to an appendage of the correct shape and size. Yes, that's right. So, Denzel, for the answer to your intriguing question, what happens when you wee on an electric fence? Stand by. First, a test of the setup. Right, yes, looking good, Brainiac. Go wee on the electric fence. Get closer, Brainiac.
Start another big riot.
This is his actual wee hitting the fence. Any reaction, Brainiac? Oh, yes, brilliant! It works! What a fantastic experiment this is. The salty urine is providing the perfect path for the electricity to pass from wire to ground. So there you go, Denzel from Wiltshire. Do it again, do it again. If you wee on an electric fence, you will get a shock to your willy. Closer, man, closer. It's got to be a full, steady stream. Hey! Brilliant!
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Chemistry Deathmatch! Featuring Professor John Chemical Kilcoyne and science's biggest loser, Bunhead!
Last time, Kilcoyne's volcano gave him a 3-2 lead, but now, who can produce the best smoke?
Gentlemen, I want a good, clean fight. Now turn to your corners and prepare your chemicals.
Kilcoyne with aluminium and iodine powder, or I2. There it is. Bunhead using a diazo salt, and take a look at that. One of the larger formulas there.
Bunhead, please produce your smoke.
Bunhead starting his reaction using a pair of sparklers. And there it is, the diazo salt breaking down and producing smoke. And what a lovely colour. Darker than burnt orange, but lighter than a russet. But is it good enough?
Professor, please produce your smoke.
So it's Kilcoyne's turn, and he's lighting the iodine with water. Most unusual there. Well, blow me! The water helping the iodine to oxidize the aluminium, and the heat of the reaction producing a resplendent purple iodine vapor. Watch out, ref, that stuff's toxic. Amazing smoke from Kilcoyne, but will it get him the win? Over to the judges, and it's a unanimous decision for Kilcoyne. Next time, marshmallows spontaneously combust. Good night. Brainiac and Beast. One urinates against lampposts and sniffs strangers' nether regions. The other is a dog. Today, a mouth-watering prospect. Who produces the most saliva, Brainiac or Beast? The dog, flea-ridden, with a tongue that dangles 19 centimetres. Brainiac, flea-ridden. His tongue protrudes a measly 5 centimetres. Dog loves to get a big hard bone in its mouth to slobber all over. Brainiac prefers nuts. They've got 30 seconds to produce as much saliva as they can. Brainiac is trying his best to produce as much mouth mucus as he can. He's usually more of a swallower than a spitter, which is the way his body naturally disposes of excess saliva. The dog, on the other hand, is happily dripping saliva all over the place, much of it into the collecting beaker. The Brainiac is pretending to suck on something. This is tricking his brain into thinking he's about to eat, and thus producing more saliva. His opponent, however, simply has to continue being a dog. Because, as well as producing saliva as part of his feeding process, it also helps him stay cool. 30 seconds gone. Time to measure up. It's 16 millilitres for the Brainiac and 32 for the dog. So, the winner of this week's Brainiac versus Beast is Beast. The Native American flute, dating back to the Bronze Age. Its haunting strains are now usually found on bargain bucket New Age CDs. But can this woeful instrument be cheered up using helium, the party gas? Success! Thanks to the gas that makes everything fun, this ancient flute is resurrected and dragged kicking and screaming into the future.
Oh my God.
No, lady. Helium. Whenever news of global environmental catastrophe reaches the Brainiacs, they call on the only man who knows what to do. Enviromaniac. Afraid to leave his shed quarters until it's safe outside, he sends Brainiacs to give Mother Nature a good kicking. Today, the Brainiacs are tackling the global fuel crisis by finding an alternative to diesel. They've brought along 3 alternative fuels: lard, evening primrose oil and cooking oil. All they need now is a worthy test vehicle. And here it is, the Jacobson Greens King Mark III lawnmower, used by greenkeepers to lovingly care for golf courses. Today, this magnificent mower is going to help the Brainiacs lovingly care for the planet. After removing the diesel, the lawnmower is ready for its first alternative fuel, lard. The rendered pig fat is melted down before being poured into the tank. But will the mowers successfully mow our 100-metre lawn and return to the start-finish line? Amazing! It actually started. And we're off! The pig fat-powered pork rocket is storming away in a grass-smashing frenzy. Fat is just oil in solid form, and under the right conditions, lard can burn very easily. It's also a staple component of the Brainiac diet, and what fuels a Brainiac should also... Oh dear, there's a problem. And the gloves are off. The lard has solidified and clogged the mower's engine after 150 metres, with the finish line in sight. Tragic. So, on to the next would-be fuel, evening primrose oil. Extracted from flowers, it's used for eczema, arthritis and stress. It's also a carbohydrate, so it should work, as well as giving off some sweet-scented emissions. The engine's turning over! Oh dear. The gloves are off again after just 5 metres, and it seems that flower power just isn't enough. Evening primrose may be a herbal remedy for stress, but it's not helping today. So it's up to cooking oil to solve the planet's fuel crisis. First, the burnt bits of fossilised chip must be carefully removed and recycled. And with a fresh tank of deep-fried fuel, it's the moment of truth. She sounds good. And we have forward motion. He's mowing like a man possessed. Vegetable oil is used to make biodiesel for cars using a complex industrial process called transesterification. The Brainiacs prepared their oil using a process called frying. And it seems to be working as the mower approaches the finish line, and with it, an end to the global fuel crisis. Yes, he made it. Oh, the sweet smell of victory, which in this case smells a bit like chip shops. So there you have it. One environmental problem, one Brainiac solution. It's hard to see what all the fuss is about, really. Enviromaniac, working hard to save the planet.
Come in. Stand over there for me, please. Right, Mr. Tickle, what can we do for you today?
Nurse, I'm bored. Can you show me something interesting that I can do with my body?
Certainly, try this. Please lie face down on the floor.
OK.
Ooh.
Now close your eyes and think pleasant thoughts for about 2 minutes.
OK, nurse.
After a while, the elevated leg position feels natural, fooling your brain into thinking your legs are back on the floor. Lowering them gently completes the illusion.
Now tell me what you can feel.
Ooh, that's really weird. It feels like my legs are going through the floor.
Wow. Thanks, nurse. That's going to keep me amused for hours.
Not at all, Mr. Tickle.
Goodbye.
It's Durability Day at the Brainiac runway. We're here to find out which common appliances can take the most punishment and still work.
And here are the electrical goods we're going to be using today. A television, a sandwich toaster, a kettle, an iron, a CD player, a DVD player or digital VD player. This is a hairdryer for drying your hair. If you haven't got a hair, perhaps a rabbit. A hedge trimmer. That's, I don't know what that is. And a microwave oven. I'm going to be stood in there, throwing the goods out of the back of the lorry, which will be travelling at a colossal 50 miles per hour. So I'm going to need a careful and conscientious driver. Are you ready? Good.
We've all been offered things that have fallen off the back of a lorry. I know I have. But are they really a bargain or just damaged goods?
First off, it's the TV. The kettle. The DVD player. Sandwich toaster.
Products off the back of a lorry won't come with a manufacturer's warranty, so it's vital to check the product for defects.
OK, we've got all the items in the lineup. Let's see which ones survive. There's the television. It's a bit of a mess, so that's out. The sandwich toaster. They're nice and warm. Mmm.
The iron's still steaming, as is the kettle. The CD player, however, is dead.
Let's see if the DVD player's working.
The Brainiac operation.
Good. The hairdryer. Lovely styling. And we've got the hedge trimmer. Bent out of shape, but it's working all right.
Sadly, the toaster thing and the microwave no longer function. But for those that survived falling off the back of a lorry, there are more perils to face.
Because unfortunately for those electrical goods, that lorry was being tailgated by a single-seat agricultural utility vehicle, or tractor. Let's see what happens.
Stop me, 'cause I'm having a good time, having a good time.
The toasty machine is the first to feel the might of the tractor's wheels, its cheesy guts spilling out on the road below. Next, the iron, now an antique flat iron. As for the kettle, its cylindrical design enables it to escape from under the wheels of doom. The DVD player is now a slimline model. The hairdryer, blown away. And the hedge trimmer, simply crushed into the dirt. Time to plug the fresh roadkill in and see what works.
The sandwich maker is simply gizzards and wires. Useless. The kettle survived, hence the steam. What about the iron? Is that iron working? No such luck. Got a horrible abstract manner about itself. The DVD player. That's not going to play any more DVDs. No, that hairdryer's days of blowing are over. What about the hedge trimmer? It seems reasonably unscathed, but will it work? Look at that!
So the hedge trimmer and the kettle soldier bravely on, but they're about to face a final test of their mettle. There's been a large petrol spillage, and a passing trucker has carelessly tossed a lit match out of the window. Surely neither of them can survive this.
OK, Brainiac, stand by. 3, 2, 1, fire!
As the fireball erupts, the hedge trimmer takes the full brunt of the explosion and is sent cartwheeling across the tarmac. The kettle has disappeared without trace. Oh, there it is.
Which one was the victor? Can I have a cup of tea, please? Thanks. Disgusting! It's freezing cold. That kettle's kaput. So how did the hedge trimmer fare? Hallelujah, it works! So, after being thrown off the back of a lorry, being crushed beneath the wheels of agriculture in the shape of a tractor, and blown up in a petrol firestorm, the hedge trimmer is the victor.
So, next time you're buying some dodgy stuff down the market, head for the hedge trimmers. You can't go wrong.
Lovely.
Hey, you!
Stop! The following experiment is dangerous. Do not try this at home. You know it makes sense.
What happens if you put some paper clips in a big microwave? Just pop it on full power and get out of there as fast as your legs will carry you. But what will happen next? Will the paper clips A, weld together, B, jump about, or C, Brighton and Hove Albion? Find out after the break. Also to come, what happens when liquid oxygen meets burning toilet paper? What's the worst food to eat in high winds? And a DJ breaks the Commonwealth record for jumping from an exploding caravan.
Brainiac. Brainiac.
This is Brainiac, the show that wipes its bottom on science's face flannel.
Still to come, balloon modelling with a twist.
No.
Toilet paper meets liquid oxygen. And a caravan meets its maker. But first, Before the break, we asked you what would happen to paper clips in a big microwave. The answer is A, they weld together. The microwaves push electrons around inside the paper clips. When sufficient charge builds up, sparks of electricity jump from one paper clip to another, like the spark of a welding arc. And the heat generated fuses the paper clips together. We do these experiments so you don't have to. Do not try this at home.
Liquid oxygen time. Liquid oxygen is very special. Today, toilet paper. Here is luxury toilets with 1 week supply of toilet paper for Ursula. What happens when I set fire to toilet roll with oxygen in air? It burns like a toilet roll do. Do-do-be-do-do. Maybe #1 for me for Christmas. But what happens when I introduce liquid oxygen? Ursula, bring the detonation device. First, I ignite toilet paper. Then I pull rope and release liquid oxygen. Pull! Liquid oxygen turns toilet paper into super fuel, which burn Ursula's privy in cleansing fire. Toilet burst into flames, like finale at pageants of toilet paper festival. Liquid oxygen, it's a miracle!
We've tricked a variety of acts into auditioning for a new talent show to find out if they can still perform while receiving electric shocks. After applying high-voltage pads to today's auditionee, it's time to say hello.
Hello, what's your name?
My name's Jelly Kelly.
Jelly Kelly, what are you going to be doing for us now?
I'm going to make some balloon animals.
Great. Get twisting.
Anyone can blow up balloons with a pump, but what about when we introduce some electric shocks?
Your balloon dog. You're going to have a balloon dog with long ears!
The shocks leave her unable to control her arms, so that tying and bending balloons into recognisable shapes has become impossible.
I'm going to make a balloon banjo. You'll be able to play this balloon, which is pretty tricky balloon twisting. No.
Balloon modelling, another act you can't perform while being shocked with electricity.
Thank you very much, Jelly Kelly. That was very creative.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Next time, we electrocute a man with 5 balls.
What's the worst national food to eat in high winds?
It's feeding time down at the lab. Italian, Indian, Chinese and British will eat their national foods in a hurricane simulation. The messiest country after 3 courses will be officially the worst food to eat in high winds.
Begin.
Well, the British starters are off to a very poor start for starters. But the Asian hors d'oeuvres are virtually mess-free thanks to the samosa and spring rolls' specially engineered wind-resistant pastry casings. The Italian bruschetta is struggling, the finely chopped tomatoes and onion being whipped up into a red blizzard. With the starters nearly finished, it's the British and the Italians bringing up the rear. And the main course is served. The frequency of hurricanes has doubled in the last decade, and it's been blamed on the rising sea temperatures. With global warming getting worse, it's vital we find out which country will be the first to die out from inability to eat when the winds get really bad. The British trying to keep a stiff upper lip, and the individual rice grains in the Chinese and Indian can't cope with the severe buffeting. On to the dessert, and the Italian's on the retreat as his tutti frutti is scattered to the four winds. It's a bit too blustery for the British custard, and the Chinese fortune cookie, with its predictive note baked in a biscuit coating, is foretelling doom for all mankind. For India, it's kulfi, a frozen dairy-based dessert. Looks refreshing. It's a shocking vision of our globally warmed future. Garden parties will never be the same. Time for the results.
And the worst national dish on a windy day is Italian.
So it's official. The first country to face starvation when the wind blows will be Italy. Bellissimo!
Things what my body does.
Hi, my name is Stevie, and the thing what my body does is...
Can I kick it? Can I kick it?
Some people have especially long muscles and loose ligaments, allowing them to flex their joints in weird ways. Not everyone can do it because, on an evolutionary level, it's utterly pointless. If you've got a body that does something unusual, then write to us at info@brainiac.co.uk. Go on, you'll kick yourself if you don't. 47-second science. Big science questions answered in bite-sized chunks. Is it true that if you grasp a bunch of stinging nettles, you won't get stung? There's an old saying which goes, tender-handed grasp the nettle, and it stings you for your pains. Grasp it like a man of metal, and its soft as silk remains. This Brainiac's hands aren't exactly soft as silk, but will they remain in their original condition if he grabs the nettle like that man of metal? Or will the needles of the nettle pierce through his skin and inject him with a poisonous triple dose of histamine, acetylcholine, and serotonin? There's only one way to find out. It's time to take the bull by the horns, bite the bullet, and quite literally grasp the nettle. So, there you have it. If you grasp a bunch of stinging nettles with your bare hands, you will get stung. A little bit. 47-second science. Big science questions answered in bite-sized chunks.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Stars in Their Caravans, with your hosts, Dolly Boy and Dolly Girl. We've trapped a selection of celebrities in 10 shabby caravans. The desperate stars can only leave when their name is randomly selected and their caravan destroyed. It's week 6. Energy levels are at an all-time low as severe malnutrition takes hold. At least Danielle Lloyd has brought a tasty, if slightly chewy option for when the hunger gets too much. But it's time to select a celeb. Who will the Ofcom-regulated Arrow of Destiny choose today? Well, fancy that! Tough luck, little doggy. Knock, knock, Tony Blackburn. We're letting you go just as soon as you've played Long Fuse, Short Fuse. Tony, inside your caravan is one of your treasured possessions. Would you like to tell us what it is?
It's my Desert Island disc collection.
Well, your records are sitting next to Super Brainiac's aluminium flash powder. We're about to ask you a science question. Get it right and we'll light the long fuse, giving you a chance to save your lovely tunes. Get it wrong, and it's the short fuse, and bye-bye records. Okay, here's your science question. In mathematics, an imaginary number is expressed in terms of the imaginary unit I, which is the square root of which integer? Take your time.
That's a difficult one. -1?
Is the correct answer! Yes! You've won the long fuse! But don't delay, Tony. It's already lit! Daring disc jockey Tony is attempting to save his records. Get out of there, Tony! It's time to rock! Close the ruddy door, you oaf! Were you born in a field? Pick yourself up, old son. You're still alive. Just. Aluminium flash powder is an explosive mix of aluminium and potassium perchlorate used for stun grenades, missile decoy flares, and wanton caravan destruction. Looks like those records broke your fall, Tony.
Thank you. Look at this lot, though. It's dreadful.
Never mind. Now you can get some new ones, if they still make vinyl. But unlike our other celebrities, at least you're free to go.
Thanks, Brainiac.
No, thank you, Tony, for playing stars in their caravans. What a ruddy good bloke.
Great jumping, Blackburn. I want to see Brainiac live in a theatre near you. They're doing science stuff in front of your very eyes this month. More info at sky1.co.uk/Brainiac. Quick reminder about Sunday's Lost, where there'll be more answers, but it takes Saeed and Kate to tie up to get them. Set a reminder in your Sky Plus for action from the island Sunday at 9. Next, Ross Kemp in Afghanistan.